Okay, so I recently received a dollar bill in an envelope in the mail. As I would hope many of my subscribers would be aware, I am an artist, and based on the video in this video, I do draw. And that leads us to the topic of today's video, which happens to be taking commissions, specifically whether or not someone may be cut out for that as work. I am speaking as somebody who has primarily made my income from drawing for the last decade or so. To start off, I will say that what made me consider this as a topic was seeing a very hot take in which someone described their thoughts as commissions kind of ruining the art community, as in this person's view set was that the urge to take commissions is ruining the attitude of these artists. And I do agree to an extent. However, my reasoning may be different from this anonymous person that I've read the opinion of. And what I've been thinking about on this topic is whether or not it is souring the experience of creation for the people who are feeling obligated to profit off of their art. Personally, I witness this occurring quite often. I do see people who are actually passionate about creating art, but then I do see them, especially teenagers, make sure that they kind of plummet into how they feel about art because now they're relying on commissions for validation, for money, for many different things. Commissions and business as an artist is quite hard to find if you are freelance, especially. And to rely on it, there are quite a few things that you should possibly put some thought into, such as your audience. Audience is a major deal for profiting off of your work. Of course, this is the internet. I'm talking about digital art. It is quite random, quite luck-based to gain a following on art because there are so many skilled artists who go completely unfound, undiscovered. Okay, so let's move on to the point. So, I will go into common issues I see amongst artists taking on commissions, as in the issues on both their end and the client's end, but mostly the artist. One common issue I see in artists, not just taking commissions, but in general, would be burnout, art block. Ultimately, if you take on commissions, you will need to communicate with your clients, or you will need to power through what is the art block. Preparation for that will be knowing how to handle it, or just letting your clients know ahead of time that this is an occurrence for you that they should be aware of. They should be able to make the choice to commission you and to pay you for your service based on the knowledge of what their experience might be, and if you know that this is a risk, they should also know this. But I have seen it in some cases that it completely depletes the ability of an artist to draw, and in that case, that's when you should definitely have some type of plan for when you can't even do the work, whether it be the resources to refund your client or some other solution. The next thing is slightly related, but it applies more specifically to commissions. I do notice many artists who try to take them on have very little motivation doing the paid work, and for that, I do not think they should pursue it as a primary career, because you're gonna get into quite a bit of trouble with your clients. And when I say this, I mean you are simply not doing the work that you owe to other people. This is more of an issue for people like me who take the payment before they begin the work. However, to knowingly lead a client on for months or maybe even years in some cases without giving them any updates or even beginning their work, that is unprofessional. It is not, it's not quite the route of behavior you want to take if you want to pursue this as a career path or even a side gig path. And related to this would be your attitude for working for other people. I have noticed this is an issue for some, in which they do not like the type of work that comes with communicating with the client. Maybe some other type of work would be more suited for you. The next point would be your time. And that means whether or not you have time to create the artwork you're being paid for. This usually requires, this is actually more thought of after you consider everything else, because this is when you actually have a queue, you have a few works to do, you have to manage your time. You need to make sure you have the time to complete the work, to communicate with your client, make sure that they have been delivered the product that they have paid for, and you have to make sure that this does not interfere with your other duties. And once again, related to the previous point comes the next one, which has to do with your speed and your income. In other words, your output will obviously dictate how much you make, because you'll be deciding your own prices. Based on your own prices, you will be deciding your workflow. You kind of dictate how much you make, but that is also helped by the people who come to you for work. Of course, along with this comes the whole debate on how to price your work, and that is just an individual issue. That is something you determine on your own, that only applies to you, because, well, it's your specific work. You can't really charge for someone else's skill set. There can be a whole lot of frustration that comes along with the process of taking on commissions, because there's so much that comes, well, that you have to consider for it, because you're involving other people, you're involving money, and you're putting your time, your skill set, and, well, your creation into it. It kind of brings us to the final question, which is, do you enjoy this work? With everything considered, are you actually enjoying what you're doing? Are you enjoying working for other people in terms of your art? In the end, it kind of depends on the person. It depends on how they feel about doing this work. And you are really the only person who can decide whether or not you're capable of it. You don't want to push yourself to the point of no return, whether it be burnout or owed work, and you end up many thousands of dollars in debt. This is also a video that applies to freelance artists such as myself. This is me speaking on behalf of something that I personally do, and that is why that's why I have thoughts on it. Because I do this. But I also enjoy it quite a bit. I do enjoy the work for other people, and I do hope that other people pursuing this career path also enjoy their work and their time. Because if not, otherwise, I would suggest you consider a different route. Because you might want to enjoy yourself a little more. But that would be the point of my video. I mostly see this so often in the circles that I'm around, because I'm around many, many artists. And I do hate to see them suffering, because they have chosen a path that isn't quite enjoyable for them. And I do hope that they can find some solution to that, whether it be changing up their process, or changing their clientele, or pursuing a different field for profit. But ultimately, it's totally your decision. You just can't play around with other people's finances. That's what I will recommend. Do not scam people, or you will go to jail and you will perish. Well, good night.